Hi friends, welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome all. Hi. This is a shifting video. You might hear some noises in the background. You might hear some insanely happy laughter. I actually tried to beat that guy awake, but it didn't work, so he's actually awake now. I don't know what he's doing up so early. Anyway, we talked about Frodo's party. My date for his party is going to be on August 9th, and I haven't decided what time. I'm thinking I want it to be early in the morning, maybe around 9 o'clock, something like that. I'm not sure if that's really a good time or not for you guys, but before I can even think about that, I need to set up, I need to get a new internet cord because the one I have, I figured out it doesn't work that well. That's why my internet is so wonky. So yeah, instead of going live on YouTube, I'm gonna do Twitch, and I'll give you guys my information in the description below. But there's gonna be balloons. There's gonna be noise blowers. I'm also gonna do karaoke for you guys. I've been trying to compile a list together of some good songs I can sing, but I'm not really a good singer. I think I'm good at karaoke, but bad at like singing. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah. So yes, to look forward to. So you guys can also, write in the description like what you want to see me try to sing or whatever. Oh God. But I want our party to be fun. I want us to have a good time. We're gonna dance a little bit. Um, and I'm really looking forward to Frodo's party. I'm even gonna get like I'll even get like him a gift and unwrap it for you guys to see. Like I'll get something. I don't know what I want to get yet. I really don't, but I'm gonna get something. So that's something to look forward to Frodo's party. And so I'm gonna tell you guys what happened when I went to Frodo's house because I came there. Not Frodo's house, so my house. Yeah, technically it's like Frodo's house because he like runs stuff. Like I mean, he runs shit. Why do I say that? Because I haven't spent any time with Frodo, guys. So it's like I forgot how much trouble one baby could be. I mean, not he's not bad. It's just being a new mom. Like I forget about things. I like, for example, I'm just gonna jump to what happened. I went there. I went to the My Hero Academia universe. I went to my house. Okay, I literally made it like it's almost next to the school. And then, so Endeavor's house is way over there. Okay, so it's kind of like a fork. All right. Think of it like that. Like, let's pretend that this is like Harvest Moon or something. And you have three different forks. You know how there's a house here, a house here. There's like, their houses are like almost next to each other. Kind of like that. Okay, and then the school is like a short distance from my house because I'm going to be returning to work. When do I want to return to work? I'm thinking like next week. I have to make sure that I have time to travel there, which means I have to have time for my day job. They really don't know what to do with me yet. They're still switching me around. I know I said I had this extra time. I thought I did. But, I guess I was like naive or something. I don't know. Anyway, back to what happened. So I'm in my house. So I basically described what it looked like to you guys, right? I have my flat screen. I have my daybed couch thingy that I pull out, at night into a couch. And I have my bathroom, which is in a separate room. And I have Frodo's room, which is in a separate room. And his room is a little bit bigger than like it's not a closet, okay? His room is not small because I need to be able to put his crib in there. I need to be able to put his bottle warmer in there. All of his stuff. I needed an extra freezer for Frodo's food because I'm sorry, Frodo's food is kind of gross. Yes, it's my baby stuff. Yes, he has to eat that, but it's like um, the more blood it has on it and stuff, the more nutritious it is for him. So Toshinori has been providing the food for him. Endeavor has done a really awesome job providing food for him. Basically going out in the woods and hunting animals and cutting them up, and they're putting them in like these vacuum. It's weird, but the bags are like vacuum sealed, so you can see like the blood around the edges. Sometimes it leaks out because it's not sealed. properly, but that's okay because they like bag it, but then blood gets inside of the bag. It's not dripping everywhere, it's just kind of a mess. So, and I have to worry about, I don't know, I mean, not really salmonella poisoning because there's ways to get rid of that. You wouldn't want your dog to eat something or like that, so I can't compare Frodo to a dog, but if I had to compare in general, like it'd be like, sort of, yeah. I mean, anyways, so Frodo came over. They brought Frodo over, and it was in Denver. And he's like, um, "Here's Frodo's food." He gave me a big bag full of stuff. So, like I said, I put Frodo's stuff in his separate little fridge in his room. I put that stuff away. He was unpacking Frodo. Adorable. I'm gonna have to give you. I'm gonna show you guys pictures and at his party. Okay, you'll get to see like pictures of Frodo. Yes, you will. So, I know I've been promising that for a long time, but I'm being serious though. For his birthday, I'll do a reveal, so you guys will see what he looks like. Okay. So he's unpacking Frodo, putting his bag and everything down. He puts Frodo down, and so like Frodo still had on like his shoes and he had on his hat and everything. And Endeavor's like, "Well, is he staying? Like, how late is he staying with you?" And I'm like, "Just a couple of hours, and then I'll give him back." And he's like, "Well, his dad is getting him today, so Hawks will be here to pick him up later." And I said, "Do you know what time he's coming?" He's like, I have no idea. Just whenever he decides to show up." And I go, "Okay, that's fine with me." So he leaves. I'm like unpacking Frodo's stuff. Like I'm getting out his bottle, I'm getting out his blankets, I'm getting out his little clothes, his adorable little clothes. He has different shoes. He has a pair of little baby boots, little black boots. They're so cute. And so I'm like, "Hi, Frodo." I pick him up and I'm hugging him and stuff. And he's being very huggy. And I'm like, "Wow, this is so amazing." Like, I'm sitting there, I'm holding him. I'm just like, I can't believe this is my child. Like, I can't believe it. A miracle baby. I go out of the room to go back into his room to set up his bed. I left the door open and I hear like a noise coming from the other room. So I go in there. Frodo is sitting next to, so I have a stand and it has like this tiny little succubus plant in there, it's inside of like this wooden vase that like fell on the floor, but it was fake. So it's like, I'm like, "Okay, well, watch out, Frodo." And Frodo is sitting there. He still has his shoes on. So I take off the hat, take off the shoes and stuff, and I'm like, and I sit him on the couch. I'm like, "Yeah, he'll be fine right here. He can't walk. He's obviously not crawling yet, from what I know. So this should be okay." So I go back in the room. I'm putting my stuff away, and I'm glaring. I look over at Frodo, and he's just sitting there, kind of, and then he starts clapping, and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, this is just so funny to watch him like do stuff. Like, what is he doing? So I'm like, "Are you hungry? Did they feed you yet?" He's laughing. I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess you're fine." I'm like, "What do you want to do with mommy?" So I sit down next to him on the couch and I'm like flipping through the channels. And I told you guys that the channels there are really weird. It's like, do you guys know what Teletubbies are? There's these creatures that's kind of like Teletubbies. It's just weird. They have really long ears that flap like this. And they do this. They're like, and they do like this. And Frodo likes that. He was just laughing. And then I turned to another channel, and it's like there's faces on the TV, and the faces are like, it freaked me out a little bit because it's like they show like, okay, so like there's a mouth, and then there's eyes, and the eyes are like, ew, and it makes like a sound like that. And Frodo's laughing. So I look at him and I'm looking at this. I'm like, is this to show like from my perspective, because I've been like a teacher before, to me it looks like this is teaching like emotions, I guess. It's really creepy the way it's doing it because the screen is just dark. So the eyes is like yellow, the mouth is like red, and it's like it's showing like, and I'm like, this is what a weird channel. Then I turn on something that's like the news. They're talking, and then a weather, like a weather app appears or something in the corner. It has like clouds and the sun, and it's like moving over like this. The TV, I don't think I'm ever gonna get used to the TV shows there. It's just weird. So I switch off the TV. Frodo starts crying. I'm like, are you hungry? So I pick him up, I carry him in the kitchen, and I'm looking in my fridge, and I'm just, that's a front because obviously there was nothing in my refrigerator. I just got there. So I'm thinking, damn, I forgot to order myself food. I wonder if I can order food. So I put Frodo down. I go and I look at, so my little studio apartment came with this little book. It's like a little it's like a phone book or something. It's almost like what we have here, which no one uses anymore because now we have the internet. It's like that phone book where you look in and you see people's numbers. And so I looked up, places that have like an Instacart or shopping like that, and I looked at what the food was. It was like corn dogs. Um, it was like fried waffles. It was like carnival stuff, and then it had like pizza. And then I saw the kamikaze pizza place there, and I'm like, well, maybe I could just order pizza. But I'm like, I really need to like just stock up my refrigerator. But then I'm thinking like, should I really stock up my refrigerator? I'm not here enough to like eat. Won't the food just go bad? So I'm flipping through these pages, not paying attention to Frodo. Next thing you know, the TV makes a sound, and I look over, and Frodo's under the TV, and the TV is falling. So I run over and I grab the TV. So I'm holding the TV. It's so heavy. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Frodo, Frodo's little butt. He's rolling. Okay, okay. Who taught him how to roll? This is how Frodo's getting around. He's rolling. He's rolling over to things. So I grab the TV. I'm holding it up with my knees, and I'm like, oh my God. And the cord is still plugged in. So I'm like, so I do like this, and I kind of yank the cord out of the wall, and I managed to put down the TV, and I lean it up against like the table it was on. And so I look behind me. Frodo is rolling into the lamp. So I run over and I grab the lamp because the lamp is falling. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna sit in. I go in his room and I go get out like the little baby prison because I always have that prepared. Yes, I sit Frodo in there, and Frodo looks around and he starts crying. I'm like, I don't care. I have to make some. I have to figure out, food. So he's screaming and crying. Then I hear knocking on the door. So I open it and Endeavor comes in and he's like, um, so I came back to see how you guys are doing. And he goes, oh, what's the matter, buddy? He runs over to him. Hey, my little lad, what's the matter? Why are you upset? And picks him up. So I'm staring at them together. I'm just and did Endeavor leave because did he leave earlier or did he not leave? Like this happened, guys, within like this me sitting him down, getting his stuff out. I mean, all this happened over the course of like 15 minutes. Okay, so there's no way Endeavor left and then came back. It takes longer than that to get to your house and then to go back to my house. We're just standing outside, where you're looking in the window. Or maybe he saw that maybe he was watching me. He saw that I had trouble with Frodo. So I go, hey, Frodo is like running around, rolling around. I know he can't walk or crawl, but you didn't, warn me or anything. And Endeavor goes, oh yeah, I taught him how to roll. Yeah, we roll down the hills. He rolls around my house everywhere too. I have this big space, just let him roll around. He's like, yeah, it's pretty easy for Frodo to get around. He can just roll. Since he can't walk. I mean, what if something happens and he needs to roll away? And I'm like, that's kind of a pathetic excuse, but okay. He's really cute rolling, but it's really dangerous because he just keeps hitting things. So then Endeavor's like, I just wanted to check on him real quick, but I'm gonna leave now. And I go, okay. I'm like, how long have you had Frodo for? And he's like, since he got sick. The time you gave him to me, and he came from the hospital. He's been staying with me, but I've been taking him to his dad. I'm like, okay. I go, and what time is he coming to get him? He goes, I told you I didn't know that. And I'm like, okay, well. He goes, all right, I'll give Frodo back to you. And he puts Frodo in my hand, and he leaves. He just goes out the door and just closes the door behind him. And I'm like, that was awkward, you know? And he just handed Frodo to me. Like, I put him in the prison for a reason. Oh, let me stop calling that. I put him in the playpen for a reason because it keeps rolling. So I sat him in there. He's crying again. And I go, Frodo, and I look in his bag and I find like his favorite toy, the toy that Kaminari got him, the really annoying ringing one. And I give that to him. So he's ringing, ringing, ringing. I'm like, oh, good, he's fine. And I hear that toy just like he like um hit the side of the like wall, playpen. And he looked at me and started screaming. I'm like, what? I'm like, do you need to be changed? So I go in his bag. I find the little mask thing I'm supposed to put on my face when I change him. And so like I go and I check and I'm like, you're dry. You know, you don't need to be changed or anything. And I'm holding him and he's like, he stopped crying. I'm like, okay, you want me to just carry you around then instead of putting you in here? And the thing is like, I haven't spent a lot of time with Frodo, so I don't know what to do for him. Not really. So I put him back in there because until I figure things out, I mean, I should have been smart. I should have figured things out before he came over instead of trying to do it now. But I am a new mom, and I don't know. There's still a lot of stuff I don't know. And then there was a knock on the door, and I'm like, "Who is it?" And they didn't answer me. And then Endeavor just walks in. He's like, "Here, I'll just." He goes, "Did you eat yet?" And I'm like, "Endeavor." He's like, yeah. He's holding Frodo. He's playing with him. Hey, little lad, playing with him. And Frodo's just laughing. And I go, I know that you want to spend time with Frodo too, but this is my time with Frodo. And he goes, well, he's just sitting there you just got him in the playpen. He doesn't want to just sit there. He wants to interact. He wants to play with you and stuff too. So you got to interact with him. It's your job as a parent. You can't just leave him there. That's neglect. You can't just neglect him and let him sit there. I said, Endeavor, Frodo's only been sitting there in there for like 3 minutes. I haven't even had a chance to do anything yet. Anytime I try to, he cries. He's like, well, just carry him around on your hip like I do. And I'm like, I can't do that. I haven't had that experience comes from being like a mom for a while or a dad for a while. You just used to carrying the kid around on like your hip the whole time. But I'm gonna drop things trying to do that. And it's just better for me to put him here. I can literally see him. And Endeavor's like, well, just let me do it. He gives me Frodo. I'm holding Frodo. I hear him like on the phone. He leaves out. He goes into Frodo's room. He's talking in there, and I'm like holding Frodo, and I'm just like this. I'm just like, what is this, man? He's like, okay, I ordered a kamikaze pizza. They'll be here soon. So I'll set the table. So he takes the place out. He starts setting the table. He's like, Frodo's high chair is in the room or whatever. He goes and gets the high chair, sets up the high chair, puts Frodo in the high chair. Food arrives. So we're all eating. We're sitting at the table. And I look over at Endeavor and he's like smiling. He's eating his pizza. He looks back and sees like Frodo over there. And I'm like, so I go, thank you. You know, I am happy and grateful that he came to my aid, but at the same time, I have to learn how to do it myself. So I'm like, thank you. He's like, don't mention it. So we're sitting at the table, we're eating. Frodo is here. Like, he's in a weird angle because he's sitting next to me and Endeavor is kind of sitting like this way. So it's like slanted. So Endeavor does this to look at Frodo kind of like this. Because Frodo's like here and I'm on like the other side of him. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. You probably don't understand. I hope I didn't mess with the camera, guys. I'm moving around a lot and I'll have the jitters today. Jitters. Anyway, so then Hawks just walks in and I go, hey. And he's like, hey. I'm like, was my door unlocked? And he's like, no, it was locked. I'm like, how did you get in? He's like, I have a key. I'm like, where did you get a key? He's like, Endeavor. I go, Endeavor, you have a key to my house? He's like, yeah, it's for emergencies in case of Frodo. And so then, like, I hear, like, hey, wait up. And it's Toshinori. Toshinori's here. So, like, I can't help but, like, smile a little bit because Toshinori's coming in my house for the first time. Like, oh my gosh. So he walks in, like, behind him, and he looks very displeased. And I'm like, okay, I'm just sitting here having pizza with them, you know? And Toshinori's like, Cotton Candy doll, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm eating dinner. He goes, you guys are look so happy together. You, Frodo, and Endeavor. I'm like, yeah, we are. And then Hawks goes, like one big happy family. So I go, yeah, you know, Endeavor's not complaining about anything. He's not, you know, he's just being normal because he's a normal person, you know. And Toshinori's like, yeah, I can see that. And he pulls up a chair, and so Toshinori sits. Toshinori like sits in between Endeavor and Frodo. He's like trying to squeeze his big ass between them. Like you're that small, like you can sit. So it's weird because he's sitting like he can't sit that close to them without knocking someone over. So he's sitting like almost behind them, eating. And then Hawks comes on the other side of me and sits there. So I'm like, he's like, is it good pizza? I'm like, yeah, it's really good. Thank you for asking. So now I have the three of them here eating with me, and I'm, you know, and then Frodo's sitting at the table, and they gave him like a small piece of it to see like if he could eat it, and he can't. He's just numbing on it. Also, they forgot to mention to me that total that Frodo's that all his teeth like fell out. I guess now he has like no teeth. And I was kind of teasing him, and I was just like, Frodo, you don't have any teeth, so you know, even if you wanted to bite me, you couldn't bite me. You know, and I'm just like, he doesn't have any teeth. And they all just kind of like stopped and they just stared at me and they're like, uncanny now. They're like, you're being really mean. I'm like, I'm not being mean. I can tease him. He's my baby. And they're like, and then, you know, the Hawks goes, that doctor guy, the one from the hospital, wanted to talk to you again about Frodo because mentally you still see him as the biohazard that he was born as, you know, and you still feel like you have that caution around him. It's like, I don't really have caution. I don't really feel like he's still a biohazard. I'm just teasing him. You know, he doesn't have teeth. I mean, and then, you know, I guess his new teeth will grow in later, but I really wasn't expecting him to lose his teeth. So that was a shocker to me. And so they said that, you know, his feeding habits have changed. Um, Now he has to drink like, before it was 2 bottles, now it's three. And I said, is there a way they can just give him something else? Does he have to have 3 bottles? I feel like that's a lot. And they said, you know, it takes to feed Frodo, it takes about an hour to feed him. Because in between drinking, he has to stop, take a break, then he has to drink the rest. But they said he needs to make sure he gets all three of them within an hour. Because he gets hungry faster. Um, and I felt like the 3 bottles should make him full longer, but they said he's growing up differently. So they said, you know, it's going to be really expensive if we started ordering food. If they started getting food from the store, it'd be too expensive. So that's why they go out and hunt it. I'm like, oh, I understand now. No wonder they hunt all the food they can find, you know. But so the night ended with three of them there. Um, the Hawks was talking about staying a night just so that you know Frodo could be near him. And Endeavor said that's a good idea. And Toshinori's like, uncanny doll. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're coming over tomorrow. You're coming to my house. And Hawks is like, she's coming to my house. And I'm like, no. I'm not coming to neither of you guys' house. I'm staying home because I have to work. Anyway, they both of them leave, and then so I'm like, well, Frodo, let's feed you and get you ready for your bath. So I fed him his bottles, yes, multiple. And I got him undressed and stuff, and I ran the bath water. And so, like, I remembered that the water can only be so high for Frodo. You can't have it too high. So I decided, I'm going to do what Hawks does. I'm just going to take off all my clothes, get in there with him. Basically, take, like, it would be like I'm getting a bath, but I'm really giving the bath to Frodo. And the relief is that Frodo's organs are no longer, like, inside of his body. You can actually see them. So he's like a normal baby now with those organs. Still, he has that, he still is unscented. His waist is still unscented. So I do have to be careful with that. So I decided, just do it in a hurry really fast. So I get in the tub with him. I'm naked, completely naked. Frodo, of course, is not wearing anything. And I'm just, washing him and stuff. And I know the water can't be that high because he'll drown. Because I don't know something about his lungs. I should know more about my baby, but I don't. They do because they've been there longer. I hear the door open. And I'm like, so I'm in the tub with him and I hear the door open. And so, like, my robe is here. And it's basically like a towel robe you just throw over you. I figured just throw it over me and Frodo, we can get out and see who's out there. Because someone's out there. Before I could get up and get the robe, Hawks comes in. He's like, oh, you guys are taking a bath. I'm like, yeah, I'm giving him a bath. He starts moving his clothes. I'm like, don't take your clothes off. I'm like, I'm almost done giving him his bath. He goes, okay. He quickly just takes his stuff off and gets in the bath. So he's sitting on the other side of me. I have Frodo here. And, like, it's weird. It's like, I'm just like, can I just spend time with him alone? Like, why do you keep coming back here? Like, so then Hawks is like, I'm like, what? He's like, well, I wanted to spend some time with you too. Last time you spent time with Toshinori. And I know you were with him in the school because I could hear you guys. I heard you by the door. And I'm like, when did you hear us? Like, you guys remember last time when Toshinori, like, snuck in there and, like, went to Pound Town with me? When, Principal Nezu had that assignment for me to do? Yeah. He saw that. So he's like, when Frodo goes to sleep, you and I can spend our time together. Like, he's already getting sleepy now. And I'm like, dang it. I look at Frodo and Frodo is kind of falling asleep. So I'm like, okay, let me take him out. So I get up, I dry him off and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll lay down. I like give him a kiss on the forehead. I put him on these cute little jammies. They got teddy bears on them. It's blue. It's adorable. And I lay him down in there and I leave out. And Hawks is standing there. And he's like, I'm like, well, he's gonna be asleep for a while now. So he comes behind me. He's like trying to touch me and stuff. And I was like, I'm really not in a mood right now. I really just want to, like, rest because Frodo was a lot of work today. And he's like, I understand. Yeah. You don't have to do anything. And I'm like, doesn't make it any better. That doesn't make it better. Like, that doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean anything. So, like, he's like running his hands to my hair and he's like, I'm like, no. And I hear Frodo. He's making like some weird noises. So I go in there. I go into Frodo's room and he's sitting up in his bed. And I'm like, weren't you just asleep just a few minutes ago? And I'm like, okay, so that means you can take your leave, Hawks. He's awake, so. And Hawks is like, okay, so he gets dressed, he leaves. I still have my robe thingy on me. So I'm walking around with Frodo, and I'm like, Frodo, you go back to sleep. And at this point, it's getting pretty late for Frodo. He should be asleep by now, but he's not going to sleep. I'm like, I wonder why he isn't sleeping. So I bring him in the living room with me, and guys, remember Endeavor said that Frodo couldn't be like, he couldn't have anyone with him, he had to be alone. Well, guess what? I was sitting on the couch watching this weird show. It was like singing. It was a guy just singing, and he was singing in like a high voice, kind of. So it wasn't a lullaby. I don't know what he was singing because the song had like a nice beat. It was like dun, 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 dun. Like I don't know how to explain it to you guys. It was so weird. But Frodo started falling asleep, so I was holding him. He was sleeping, and it was just oh, it was just the greatest feeling. Him like I could hear his breathing. He still has that. He still sounds like a regenerator, like the breathing. But imagine a baby version of that, and he was so warm, just adorable. It was a weird sensation because I only had on my robe, my towel, and I had him close to my chest, and it just made me wonder about like I know they were talking about breastfeeding last time, and I know that that won't help. But I feel like me holding him close to my chest that way, I feel like we really did bond. I really felt like I did have that bond with him. My sweet baby sleeping on me, and I just let him sleep there. Eventually, I felt ended up falling asleep next to him too, and um, I woke up later on. He was still asleep. I put Frodo in his bed, and then Endeavor came back over again, and he's like, "How's my little lad?" And I said, "He's sleeping. He's doing just fine." And I go, "Endeavor, why are you checking on me so much? What's your reason for coming here so many times? Because you've been here. It's like your third time here." He's like, "I just want to make sure Frodo was okay." And I said, "Frodo will always be okay with me. Like, he just will." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna back off now. I'm gonna go home." So Hawk shows up after he leaves, and he's like, I came to pick Frodo up now. It's time for Frodo to go." So I grabbed all of his stuff. We put him in his crib. Not his crib, his car seat. He was still sleeping. And I said, he's pretty Frodo seems really tired and really like he's dead to the world. He didn't wake up. I like undressed him. I put on like a new diaper, everything. And he didn't wake up. And Hawks goes, "Well, his medicine has sleeping. There's sleeping medicine in there now to help him sleep. Just he was sleep deprived and it's been an issue." And so no one really talked to me about they didn't really talk to me about the new diet plan. So I said at some point, I'm gonna have to go back and figure that out. I told Hawks that, next time I'm gonna go up to the hospital, I'm gonna talk to that doctor. I'm gonna get all the facts about Frodo because I just don't know that much about my child. And I feel really bad as a mom to not know as much as I should know about him. So he took Frodo and he left. I was hoping that Toshinori would knock on my door after and come back over, but that didn't happen. I suspect he's angry. I think it's because I was having family time with like Endeavor. Like that's not even a big deal. Like he's not even anybody except Frodo's guardian. Right? Well, Frodo's goddad, but I mean, we have to have a relationship too. I mean, some kind of relationship. It doesn't have to be like you guys, like you, Toshinori. It's not going to be the same as you and Hawks. So you can't be jealous because he beat you here and because we're having like pizza. It's nothing. Like, are you going to be jealous of every guy who enters my life, regardless of whether we have a relationship or not? Like, the only person he's not aiming his anger at is Hawks, which is to me that's weird. But I guess you guys they're still on this whole sharing thing or whatever. So I ended up leaving after Frodo left. Frodo was the only reason I was there. Honestly, the apartment feels really dreary. It feels really dark and kind of boring. I explain it. It just doesn't feel very welcome. It doesn't feel homey. And I guess when I go there more and when I actually decorate it, it'll probably look more homey for me and I'll actually be more comfortable there. I'm guessing. I don't know. So anyway, I shifted back here and I just kept thinking about Frodo. I just kept thinking about holding him close to me. him falling asleep. Oh, it was just the most sweetest thing in the world. The most precious thing. I can't wait to spend time with him again. I I proved I proved him wrong. Frodo was fell asleep. Okay, he didn't wake up in my presence, guys. Usually he wakes up with other people's presence come in the room. But him falling asleep on me proves that he can still sleep around people. So for me, that's progress. I feel like that's a lot of progress. What is that weird noise? I don't know what I'm hearing. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing Frodo's party on August 9th. And I might, like I said, I might do it in the morning. I'll let you guys, I'll do another announcement video as soon as I know, but I'll probably release another video before that because I do plan on going back there tomorrow. So you guys will be getting another video really soon. Um, but yes, everyone's invited to the party. I'm going to leave the link to my Twitch below. So if you guys want to go ahead and just follow me on there, I'm going to try and get everything set up early this week. I do have to wait till my internet cord gets here. So everything should be fine with that. Everything goes like how it's supposed to. We can start the party on time right away. You guys can also put songs in there in the link that you want me to sing for the karaoke part. I'm trying to compile a list. And did I tell you guys everything that happened? I think I did. I plan on going back there, but my next time back there is not going to be. I'm going to spend some time with Frodo, but I also want to go to see Toshinori because I haven't got to really be. Well, we did get our minute together, but that was like a quickie. That wasn't. These aren't my style. Like, yes, it's great because it's like really intense and hot and heavy, and it's very like it reminds me of like casual sex, but it's really fast. Um, it's not like that sensual, intimate, you know, honey. And it's not the same as having like, yeah, quickies are fun, but it's like I like to like actually have time and spend time. All right, guys. I guess it's time for me to end the video then. Um, if you like this video, or if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If not, some people aren't gonna like some people aren't always gonna like your content. They just like to see you. So, that's okay with me. Um, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video then. Thank you all for watching. And like I said, I'll give you guys that information later this week. But early this week too. Probably tomorrow or Tuesday. Probably tomorrow. I'll let you guys know like what time. I'll decide, I'll actually decide right now when a good time will be. I think a good time for the party would be in the morning. Around like 9 o'clock or something. Thinking 9 o'clock maybe. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.